A quiet morning in our tightly wound HOA community. Rows of beige houses so identical you'd think they were 3D printed. Lawns trimmed to exactly 2.5 inches because yes, they measure. Mailboxes lined up like soldiers on parade. And the sprinklers? They hiss on schedule like clockwork snakes. This is the kind of place where smiling feels mandatory, but behind every curtain, someone's judging you. Welcome to Prodigy Heights, where the HOA doesn't just run the show. They got their own wannabe police force. Yup, HOA cops. Picture this: middle-aged dudes in golf carts, rocking badges they probably printed off Etsy, clutching walkie-talkies like they're guarding the White House, and wielding clipboards with more power than common sense. But then my cousin Diego rolled into town, and let me tell you, the air got a little warmer. Maybe it was the desert sun, or maybe it was Diego's electric energy spilling all over this squeaky clean neighborhood. Diego's from Mexico City, where life is loud, colorful, and chaotic in the best way. He's got a slick fade, mirrored aviators, muscles like rebar, and this cool, calm vibe that makes him look like he just stepped out of an action movie. I warned him, bro, things are different here. This place is intense. But Diego just grinned, said he was on vacation, and started jogging every morning like he owned the block. For the first few days, it was all good. I showed him around town, grilled some steaks, introduced him to my chill neighbors who don't bow to Karen, a queen pin. We laughed over tacos and backyard beers, and Diego was loving the peace. This is nice, he said, a break from work. What work? I asked. Security, he said with a smile that told me there was a story there. But I didn't press. Dude's here to chill, not spill his life story. But in Prodigy Heights, chilling too hard is a crime. Especially if you're tanned, confident, and don't come with an HOA pre-approval sticker. Karen, the HOA dictator, has a sixth sense for sniffing out anything that doesn't fit her beige, boring blueprint. And Diego? He was a neon sign in her monochrome world. It was around 6:30 a.m., the sky barely blushing with sunlight, when Diego laced up his sneakers and headed out for his usual run. His playlist was thumping through his wireless earbuds, and he jogged down Oak Ridge Lane with that same confident stride. Same route, same rhythm, no big deal. Or so he thought. Cut to reenactment. Diego jogging, music faintly audible. Suddenly, a golf cart screeches up behind him. Out of nowhere, the HOA's glorified mall cops rolled up in their oversized golf cart, tires squealing like they were auditioning for Fast and Furious. Two middle-aged dudes in matching windbreakers, cargo shorts, and knockoff mirrored shades jumped out like they were mid-SWAT operation. The shorter one, let's call him Clipboard Carl, barked, "Hey you, stop right there." Diego slowed, confused, pulling out his earbuds. Sorry, what's the problem? Clipboard Carl waved his clipboard like it was a court-issued warrant. We don't recognize you, and you're not wearing identification. Residents are supposed to have guest passes. Do you live here? Diego blinked, keeping his cool. I'm staying with my cousin. He lives on Hillcrest Drive. The taller one, let's call him Wannabe Wade, crossed his arms like he was channeling every bad cop movie cliche. What's his name? Mark, Diego said. And what's his house number? Diego paused. I'm not sure. I can walk you there if you want. That's when things went left. Clipboard Carl pulled out plastic zip ties. Yes, zip ties, like he was auditioning for Reno 911. I don't think so. You're not complying, and you can't confirm your location. Hands behind your back. Diego raised his eyebrows, more confused than scared. Wait, what? Wannabe Wade stepped in, puffing out his chest. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. At this point, Diego realized these weren't just bored dads on a power trip. They were about to get physical. He raised his hands, trying to keep it civil. Look, I'm not resisting. I told you I'm staying with my cousin. Just follow me to his place. But they weren't listening. Clipboard Carl lunged forward with the zip ties, grabbing Diego's wrist. And that's when instinct kicked in. The second Carl tried to clamp those zip ties on Diego's wrist. The air changed. Diego's jaw tightened just a bit, but his body? Still relaxed. Almost too relaxed. That's the thing with professionals. They don't bark. They strike. Before Carl could blink, Diego twisted his arm out of reach, grabbed the dude by the collar, pivoted his foot, and swept him flat on his back with a controlled thud. The clipboard clattered to the pavement like a sad trombone. Wannabe Wade gasped, then lunged forward like he was rushing the quarterback in a high school football game. But Diego, he sidestepped, ducked low, and delivered a clean elbow to Wade's ribs, just enough to knock the wind out of him without sending him to the ER. Both HOA cops were down, rolling on the pavement like beached whales, groaning about assault, while Diego stood there, hands on his hips, shaking his head. "You guys really should have just walked with me," Diego said, his voice steady but with a hint of amusement. Across the street, a couple of dog-walking neighbors froze, jaws dropped. One lady, clutching her poodle, whispered, "What just happened?" Her husband, trying not to laugh, replied, "Karen's boys messed with the wrong guy." Another neighbor was already pulling out their phone, filming what looked like an episode of HOA Smackdown. Diego glanced over at the camera, flashed a polite smile, then crouched down to clipboard Carl. "Now, if you like, I can still take you to my cousin's house. Or you can explain to your boss how you assaulted a visitor with zero cause." Carl's face turned beet red. "We were just doing our job." "You mean profiling people who don't look like you?" Diego said coolly. He dusted himself off and jogged back toward my house, leaving both OA cops moaning on the pavement. By the time Diego walked through my front door, he was barely winded. "You get your run in?" I asked, sipping my coffee. He shrugged. "More like a warm-up." My phone buzzed seconds later. Neighborhood app alert. Video, HOA cops down. The caption, HOA security gets schooled. Cue Karen, the HOA queen pin, exploding like a shaken soda can. Her group chat, HOA Angels of Order, was on fire. She screeched up to the park, where her precious patrol puppets were icing their bruises and pretending they weren't utterly humiliated in broad daylight. "What do you mean you let some foreigner put you on the ground?" Karen screamed, pointing fingers like a malfunctioning traffic light. "You're supposed to be HOA enforcers. We thought he was suspicious. He didn't have ID." Clipboard Carl whined, wincing as he tried to stand. Karen didn't care. She was pacing like a lunatic, her hair frizzing from sheer rage. "You assaulted a guest on camera, and now everyone's laughing at us. HOA security is a joke because of you two morons." Wannabe Wade mumbled. He said he was staying with his cousin. Karen stopped dead in her tracks. "What cousin? Whose cousin? Where's his paperwork? I want addresses, I want lease copies, I want birth certificates." Meanwhile, back at my place, I was chilling on the porch with Diego, watching the neighborhood react like someone had dropped a match in a gasoline pool. Phones were out, rumors were spreading, and the HOA's power tower was starting to wobble. But Karen, oh, she wasn't done. Not by a long shot. She whipped out her HOA burner phone, the one she uses to call in real enforcement when she wants to flex, and demanded a police response. Her story? A violent immigrant assaulted her officers and posed a community threat. Two real cops stepped out, calm and curious. Karen, in full meltdown mode, ran over and unloaded her version of events. "He's undocumented. He assaulted my officers. He has no ID. He's aggressive. Arrest him." The officers blinked slowly, exchanged glances, then one of them asked, "Ma'am, do you have any proof of what you're saying?" "Well, he doesn't have ID, and look what he did to my guys." Karen shrieked, pointing at Carl and Wade, who looked like they just lost a wrestling match with a brick wall. The officers turned to Diego, who stood up calm and cool as ever. He reached under his shirt and flashed a badge. "I'm with international law enforcement," he said. "I was off duty. They attacked me first." The cops paused, looked at each other, and burst out laughing. Yo, the look on Karen's face? Priceless. Her whole world crumbled in that moment. The HOA cops? Humiliated. The neighbors? Eating popcorn and sharing the video like it was the Super Bowl. And Diego? He just went back to his morning run the next day, like nothing happened. So, what's the moral of the story? Don't mess with someone who's got skills, badge, and zero patience for nonsense. Karen learned that the hard way, and Prodigy Heights hasn't been the same since. That's it for this wild ride. Comeback Stories fam. Did Karen get what she deserved? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know if you've got your own HOA horror stories. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next epic comeback. Until then, stay bold, stay real, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.